Hey, this is Daniel Norton. I'm here in my studio in New York City with Zuzana, hiding back there. And we wanted to take a nice portrait here, and we were supposed to do it at night. Or, that's not true, we were wanting to make it look like the night. So we're gonna do that, but let me just show you first the starting point. So here we are, there's nice light coming through the windows behind her. I have my camera set on 60th of a second at f4.5, and this is kind of the light in the room currently. So my white balance is, of course, if she doesn't like that, you can see. My white balance is currently set on daylight because it is daylight, and what we can see is blown out windows behind her. You know, she's whatever. As far as the light on her is kind of not great. We obviously are going to make that better. But one thing that really makes it feel like night, and you see this a lot in movies and stuff, is they add this kind of blue feel to it, right? It's blue. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our light blue outside by simply changing the white balance in the camera. So if I switch my white balance from daylight to, let's say, tungsten, I mean, you could also do a Kelvin setting, but let's just do this, simple. Now, she's blue, which is fine, except now she's blue and we don't really want that, and it's also too bright out there. So let's also, right, if you're looking out the window at night, maybe you don't want it to be so blown out. Let's get an exposure that the windows look better. So let's dial into, I don't know, 1,000th of a second. We'll try. It might be a little dark. 800th of a second. Yeah, we'll start there, right? If the light's coming through the window, if it's like the moonlight, it's going to be exposed, right? So it's going to be bright on some level if you have a bright moon out, and it's going to have a blue feel to it. Keeping in mind that your exposure will also dictate how saturated the color is. So if I do go really dark, let's go to 2,000 so we can see. Not only does it get darker, the blue gets more enriched. So you got to find the point where you feel happy with it. I think I'll go with 1,000. That always feels good. And now we want to light her up, right? So that's fine. So we have a nighttime window shot, and she's totally a silhouette. So in order to light her up, I'm going to use my Profoto B1X here, and I could just use it, right? If I turn it on, it's in my A group. I have my controller on top here. I'm in TTL. Let's see, focus, and she's still blue, right? She's blue because flash is basically the same white balance as daylight. What we need to do is make our flash now equal to a tungsten light. The way we do that is with a gel called CTO, or color temperature orange. So this gel right here is an orange gel. We put orange in front of blue. They're complementary colors. They will counter each other out. So I'm going to put this on my light. Just clips right in there. I have the holder already in there for it to make life easy for me. I'm in TTL, so it's going to compensate automatically. I should also mention that I'm using high-speed sync because that's how I'm able to shoot at 1,000th of a second. And now she is neutralized, right? So she looks pretty good. I actually think she looks a little overexposed because at nighttime you want to feel a little bit dark, so maybe I'll tell the TTL to give it a little bit less light. It's in the A group, but I'm going to go into my camera to do it, because remember, when you only have one light with the Profoto system, you have to do it in camera. So I'm going to turn it down to 2/3 of the stop. There we go. That's a little better. I might fiddle around with it as we go, because I'm not going to sit there and do that. Like you could, if you just had one light, this kind of has a nighttime feel to it, but this is definitely not a complete shot, right? We have bright moonlit windows behind us. I want to give the scene that feel that the moonlight's also part of our scene. So I have another light here in the back. This one is also a B1X. It is in a 1 foot by 3 foot softbox, and it's basically giving our kicker or separation or hair or whatever you want to call it light. This one is in a different group. This is in group or zone B, which I can turn on the top of my controller here. So now B is on, and let's fire that up. Now we have the two lights firing at once. And now we've got this blue light coming in from the back. Why is it blue? Because it is a flash, right? And my white balance is on tungsten, but I also added to it a 1/4 CTB, which is color temperature blue. I already had that on there just to give it a little bit more intensity. And we do have it on. It's on her hair. It's hitting her cheek a little bit. We can play around with where it falls. And that looks pretty good. Like let's pull your hair back a little bit so we can actually see it on your cheek. I want this one to be a little bit hot because I feel like that makes sense since the windows are a bit overexposed. So let's see. Good, it's nighttime. Nighttime is the right time. Right? We get the little blue, and we can play around with that as much as we want, right? We've got the softbox back here. There's a lot of things you could use for this, and it's just, you can see actually that it's like right at the edge of exposure, so I still have detail there. You could just use a regular grid or even a bare head for this because the light is theoretically hard, right, coming from the moon. However, it's going through shears, so by using a softbox, it makes it feel more correct. And again, that doesn't look bad. But I think the final thing I want to do is I have this gel holder here. This has 2 full CTOs in it, so it's extra orange. I'm going to actually put this on my Profoto B2, which I have over here. And this guy is in my group C. I'm aiming it kind of at the windows and the wall to give a little bit of a hint of warmth to it, because that's going to feel like there's some lights on in the room or something, giving a little bit of like ambiance to it. So let's see what that looks like. And once I have all these lights up, we'll do a quick tweak to get them exactly to the exposure that we like, and then we'll take the photo. So be a little more straight with your head. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now we have those back there. Now with all my lights together, I see a few things. That light in the back is definitely too bright, the warm light I just added. My key light doesn't seem bright enough. So now I'm gonna go into my controller, right? First of all, I'm gonna take off the adjustment that I put earlier because that's affecting the whole shot. And I'm gonna take a photo like that. Get myself neutral, there we go. Okay, so my key light is too bright still. That's A, so I'm gonna turn that down a little bit. Let's say 3/10 of a stop. Maybe even a touch more. Good. And again, I'm just doing this to feel. It's not really, all of these exposures are correct. It depends on which one is correct for me. That's basically where I'm at there. I think my windows feel a little bit too bright, so I'm going to adjust my shutter up because the sun's coming up. So now I'm going to a 1500. That put her to sleep. She fell asleep when I did that. We can see that. That looks pretty good. Maybe one more. Non-sleeping shot. And then finally, I think the light all the way is my C group is a little bit too bright too. So I'm going to go to my C, dial that down a tiny bit. I'm going to bring A actually back up because that looks like it's off. Remember when you're using TTL, it'll sometimes jump around if you have multiple lights going on. So you're going to want to tweak each one independently and then go back until you have the formula that's working for you. Like, I think that's pretty good. Let me quickly check to make sure none of my highlights are blown out. Nope, it's really close. She's slightly underexposed on the skin, which I want. I think that looks good. The light is soft-ish, but not being too soft. It's dark. Now we just need the right mood. So now be nighttime-ish, right? Important to instruct the models. Okay. That's it, good. That definitely feels like night. See, and now we've got a nighttime shot, right? Feels good. Go a little bit darker on that A light. Good. So I'm just going to review everything here, right? We've got camera set at 1/1600th of a second at f4.5. So that's going to give us the dark windows. If you didn't have high-speed sync capabilities, you could do ND filter on the lens would also work, but you'd have to maybe be shooting at f22 or something. I've got CTO, so color temperature orange on this light, a little bit of color temperature blue on the hair/kicker, and a lot of orange on my kind of window light back there, giving us this kind of overall scene. So we'll shoot a couple like this. I think it looks pretty good. This might be the kind of shot you could do for, oh, that means I went too fast. The lights yell at you if you go too fast. One thing that's important here is these are 500 watt second lights, and I am really like running them at their maximum here with all this gel on there and against the daylight. You know, it definitely eats up a lot of power. So, you know, I've got to make sure I pay attention. Reaching down a little bit. Good. One more. Good. Oop, too fast. Good. Nice. One more like this. Actually, look off because I'm curious what that'll look like. So I'm going to move it around a little bit. And again, I'm playing around. Yeah, that's nice. With the light to see where it looks the most. Oh, that's actually very nice. Let's actually do one more like that because whenever you do one, it looks good. You always have to do a second one. Now that looks really great, except I want that blue light on your chin. So stay exactly there, or cheek rather. I'm just going to move my hair light. Good. Just testing it to see where it's at. All right, let's try that. Should be the last one. This is the one. There we go. So we get that little bit of light hitting her in the cheek, giving us some three-dimensionality. She's looking over there at the hors d'oeuvres table. She's like, oh, what's for lunch? You know, that kind of thing. Good, good, good. Here we go. Nice, one more. That's it, that's it, that's it. One more. Good, 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 good. Stay with me. Nice. Chin down, right there, right there, right there, right there. That's it. Okay, so. Oh, you look a little bit mean in that one. And we know that Zuzana is not mean, so we'll take one more. She's very nice. Perfect. Okay. So again, just checking to make sure all my exposures are good. I think they look good. When you're doing this kind of stuff, watch the windows, right? Because remember, it is daytime, right? So unless it's a cloudy day and everything's going to stay exactly the same, your light could be going up and down. All right? If it's a full cloudy day where like there's no clouds in the sky, or if it's fully sunny, then it'll stay the same all day. But most days it's going to be changing in and out. So if you want your windows to be consistent, watch that exposure, and you're going to control that with your shutter speed. So be sure to follow Zuzana on social media. We'll put the links in the description. Be sure to follow me on YouTube and Facebook, Daniel Norton Photographer. Be sure to subscribe to Adorama TV, and I'll see you next time on set.